right.
This is just the
They're going
beginning.
to keep going or keep.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
we know that.
Right. You wouldn't have believed it. Oh, the Lord.
Oh, wow.
And Sean.
Oh, how about, I believe it.
Where are you going?
Somebody yelling, you
I
die?
know.
That's what it sounded like. Yeah.
That's weird.
Play it backwards.
How are you, Stephanie? Good. They're happy to be here. How's the library?
Wonderful, actually.
Good.
We've got everything back to normal again, round two.
Round two.
All right, are we good?
We're ready to go.
Are we on live?
You are.
Okay, Mayor?
Okay, it's now
6.
6:28. We're going to come out of executive session at this time, back into open session. And at this point. And we are going to, at our next item, we're going to move ahead a little bit. We're going to move item P to the next
Yeah.
discussion item.
Is there any action out of executive session?
Yeah, this is it.
This
Yeah,
is
we had two items. This one's first.
Mayor, you want to read P?
I'll repeat. P states it's a presentation, general discussion, possible action on SB 2186, which would propose an amendment to the State Water Code, Chapter 5016, Special District, and local codes for the 87th State Legislative Session. And we're going to move on to that. I do want to read a statement. I think what's most exciting about 2186 is the fact that the Port of Corpus Christi, PAC, the Port Aransas Conservancy, and the city of Port Aransas are all back at the table working together to achieve a common goal. And that of figuring out what's best for Harbor Island. And I believe that SB 2186, which would grant the port additional non-industrial uses, is an interesting concept and a step in the right direction. The problem, as I see it, is that we have not had time to properly vet the bill and to figure out the economics on how non-industrial port developments will impact businesses and tourism in Port Aransas. And I believe we owe that due diligence to the citizens of our city, our taxpayers, and our business owners, and to the Port Aransas Independent School District. This potential shift in uses could alter Harbor Island for the next 100 years, and there should be no rushing into it at all. I can tell the port and the PAC leaders that the city is committed to working over the next 18 months and with great effort to get the proposed bill ready for the 2023 legislative session. That's just around the corner. With that being said, I make a motion to continue to oppose SB 2186.
Let's get a comment.
Any comments?
I'm just gonna say, I think until we get a vision of what Port would like to do on Harbor Island, I don't see how I could support this.
Well, in reading the bill, it allows manufacturing and many industrial uses that are not allowed now by our zoning. So this bill would allow other kinds of manufacturing and flaring and all sorts of things. So refineries, smokestacks, anything you could imagine. So I think we have to get that refined and know exactly what we're talking about before we can support such a thing.
And those are some of the reasons why we need to continue to oppose 2186.
Right.
I'm making a motion.
Okay. I'll second the motion unless you want to.
Call the roll.
Councilmember Holt,
Yes.
Councilmember Crawford,
Yes.
Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Owens,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Moore,
Yes.
Mayor Beyond.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay. Now we'll move back to our regular.
No, we got
No.
one more
Oh,
thing,
we got
Mayor.
one more, don't we?
Coming out of the session.
Hold on a sec.
Council, I'm Levy. Appreciate the opportunity to be here.
Okay,
Thanks,
thank you,
Robert.
Fred and Mike.
Thank you all. Bye.
Thank you.
Item number 6 is open session.
Yes, sir, you're discussing that executive session matter, Mayor?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and which is what we're doing.
Yes, sir.
Right, but now the evaluation of David.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're moving on
The
to,
second thing is the evaluation of David. At this point, I had all 4s, which are good.
Excellent. They're excellent.
Yes, they're excellent.
There was 1, 2, but I couldn't find out. That person didn't sign it.
what was that, my office condition?
Most likely.
Your hair before you got it cut.
Yeah.
No, David has done a great job for us, and
Absolutely.
I wouldn't know what to do without him, to tell you the truth.
We would all have to leave the country if you
Oh,
left.
absolutely. He takes a lot of heat, but he also gives us his excellence and his good judgment.
Yep.
And he backs us up.
And so
Well,
much of his time
I thank
and
you for
efforts.
council support. And I also thank my team. I got a great group of employees, a lot of great leaders, and
Yep.
working with council and the citizens and the city leaders and the director team. We make it work. It's like a giant ship cruising down, and we try to keep it on track, and it gets difficult sometimes because it's fast moving, but we keep it steady and keep it moving forward.
Well, and I think that one of the things we discussed, I mean, this council for the most part has been together as one unit for at a minimum of 4 years. Beth and I now 6, and of course Charles has been on council for, even longer than that. And so
Over a decade.
over a decade. And I think that we have all seen that without your leadership, we would have not gotten through Harvey. We would have not gotten through, the other hot button issues that we've been through, and certainly this,
Through a lot of them.
a lot of them, certainly this past year with COVID and all the challenges. And you're right, your staff has done an amazing job. And that's because of your leadership. So we can't thank you enough. So your evaluation was good, and we hope that you know how
Excellent.
much we appreciate it. Yes, excellent. That's right, excellent. And I think the recommendation from council is going to be that in lieu of an increase in pay this year, we would like to offer you an extension of your severance period from 6 months to 1 year.
Thank
Yes,
you.
I second
Yeah.
that. If it's a motion,
That is a motion.
Second.
I do.
Ms. Jones?
Okay, call roll.
Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Crawford,
Yes.
Councilmember Holt,
Yes.
Councilmember Owens,
Yes.
Mayorperson Moore,
Yes.
Mayor Beyond.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right.
Good job.
Cannot thank you
Thank you.
enough.
Good job.
Thank you for being a great captain to this city.
Captain Carson.
At the helm.
That's it.
You must refer to him now as Captain Dave when you go into his office and go, ahoy, hoy.
You got to salute him.
Fran, can you give me any? Thank you, Beth.
Okay,
All right.
very good. All right,
Number 7.
number 7, our consent agenda.
We didn't get that, so we didn't read it. So I wonder if we could,
It's item A. It's the city council
Well,
minutes.
we got them kind of last minute.
Oh,
Did you have a
oh,
chance
that's
to
right.
peruse them real quickly?
You have?
yeah, we just got them.
It's consent agenda. Mayor, I'll make a motion. I'm sorry. I will wait for Ms. Holt to go through hers real quick. Does this include March minutes?
Yes.
Yeah,
March
March 18th, you were absent.
Okay. Yeah. I'll make a motion, but I'm going to abstain.
If you want, I'll do it.
Okay, I'll let you do it.
Only meeting you missed.
It is the only meeting I missed one of the meeting like 2 years ago.
Haven't missed one yet, but I might.
Me either. I'm going to get perfect attendance.
Now
6 years, perfect attendance, Mayor.
I'm gonna let you know that next month you're gonna run this thing. I'm not gonna be here. I'm being Canada.
I thought we had discussion last month that you couldn't leave.
Okay.
We're going to have a sidebar discussion on that.
No, man. No,
Okay. Okay.
Quebec, huh? Quebec.
Item number 7, consent agenda. City Council minutes of February 25th, 2021, March 18th, 2020. Motion to approve.
Second,
Second.
call the roll.
Councilmember Holt,
Yes.
Councilmember Crawford,
Yes.
Councilmember Clark,
Abstain.
Councilmember Owen,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Moore,
Yes.
Mayor Beyond.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 8. Items for consideration. B is a resolution, an RFQ for Mustang Beach Airport, a layout plan ALP, update to AECOM, Technical Services Incorporated. Funds for the airport layout plan are available in Fund 175, airport account number 51309. Authorizing city manager to act as the executive officer and authorize representative of the city in all matters pertaining to said contract.
Okay, so this is a budgeted item. We tried to do it last year, but we didn't quite get around to it, but we did get the RFQ out. So what we need to do is the city needs to update in anticipation of the runway project coming in, we need to get the city's airport layout plan updated to show the new runway, the new taxiways, and also the new addition of the additional acreage along the highway with a proposed layout that the airport board is working on, showing the development of the new land it would be between the airport and the workforce housing. There's about 8 acres in there of developable uplands that will be where the new taxiway is going to come. So we need to show that proposed development on an airport layout plan because that's the approval process that Aviation needs when they approve you coming in to want to build something. Or if you want to come in and attempt to get hangar grant money, any of the federal grants, they're going to look at your ALP and say, where is it on your ALP? Because they think you're just making stuff up on the fly. So you have to make this effort, get your ALP updated. And then once it's updated, showing those proposed expansions, then you're eligible for future grant money. So that's the purpose of this. AECOM is a really great statewide airport engineering firm. They do a lot of airport layout plans. And so it's the recommendation of the airport board and myself to make a motion for me to enter into a contract with AECOM.
I just had one question.
Yeah.
And just regarding it, is it okay to get reimbursed with just one bid?
Yes, it is because this is strictly city funds.
Okay.
So it's city airport funds. This is not funded through Aviation or any federal. It's not like FEMA where you have to have at least 2 or 3.
Sure.
Yeah.
What kind of time frame, David? If they
We want to get the ALP to them at least by September. So we think we can do it over the summer. It's not a huge lift.
Yeah. Signed and everything. Motion to approve.
Second.
Call the roll.
Mayor Pro Tem Moore,
Yes.
Councilmember Owen, Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Crawford,
Yes.
Councilmember Holt,
Yes.
Mayor Beyond.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay. Our next item on the agenda is the item C. Discuss and take appropriate action on final plat, number 210347, plat of the Texan, Block 1, Lot 1. Rick?
Thank you, Mayor, Council. This is essentially a consolidation of three larger and some pieces of some other lots on the tract. Probably we used to fondly refer to as the GLO tract, but that on the borders 1A, 361, and 11th Street, that large tract. But this is that corner. Again, it would be the southwest corner of that larger tract, and the consolidation would result in one parcel that would be 2.8 acres in size. Most of you have probably heard, and we do have in our office under review plans for a single-story convenience store. It's referred to as the Texan. There's several around the state. They had approached us about a year ago just to kind of lay the groundwork with whom we may be working with if everything worked out, laid out the their concept and wanted to find out what our rules and regulations were, and which we always appreciate. And then there was some radio silence, obviously some real estate deals that were in the works. Those came to fruition, hence this plat and what we anticipate will be a set of building plans in the very near future for the project as I described it. There was a couple of minor technical issues that our reviewing engineer had, mainly just some legal description issues that were easily reconciled. All the utilities, again, were sent their comments. They all approved. Planning and zoning approved. Staff recommends approval.
Just got a question, and just because maybe not necessarily super germane to this, but it was brought up in a letter to the editor about having a tall or big gas station at the end of the runway. Can you just address the what is the wording here? They did is aviation easement. Can you explain that a little bit, maybe for?
We have an interesting airport hazard zoning map in our office. I became familiar with it not long after I first got here. But it basically takes into account, it's an FAA type of document that I suspect was submitted with the airport long ago. Yeah. But it addresses the flight paths and the glide paths and the runway and the takeoff requirements. And quite frankly, over the years, that property has come into play several different instances. And David and I looked at it. I believe that you could actually put
65 feet.
Yeah, a 5-story hotel easily on that. Like I said,
except for the CZ2 overlay, which is a height restriction overlay district, which does affect, I believe, about 80% of that property. It limits it to 35 feet to the mid pitch. So you could maybe have a 40-foot building there.
Sure.
So we're stricter than the FAA TxDOT Aviation federal guidelines. So,
but with that concern, I don't know that you could find probably a better option, single story, regardless of what that was, but a single story use is probably the least invasive as far as the airport, as far as that goes. So, like I said, and obviously there's been questions about lighting and everything else. All of those will be addressed as they always are when when those permits
and landscaping.
Landscaping, of course.
Sure. I just was curious. Sorry.
Yeah. Is anybody worried? I guess one of the comments that there was going to be this gigantic building, and why do we not have any kind of controls over the size?
We have our architectural controls
sizes
put in place long ago. They're not terribly complex. But they do eliminate the big wall planes. Dollar General kind of ran up against that. They wanted just a big square facility. They did have to offset their entryway a little bit. So there's some things that we have in place that will still apply. But their MO, when you look at their other properties, they're reasonably attractive.
I would just say I actually went and looked at one, and I would say that just from my personal opinion, just a quick 2-mile view or whatever, was that their existing building, even the big one they have in Cuero or Goliad would fit on the property with no changes.
Yeah, it's, somebody was talking about the size, but again, when you're looking at a 2.8 acre tract, that's fairly large.
And it's only twice the size of the Stripes that's next door across the street. So it sounds like it's going to be big, but it's not going to be as big as.
Are they planning any electric charging stations?
They're pretty progressive. I'd be very surprised if
you might hit at them. I did see that the one in Goliad had a free air station. So if you need to get tires filled up.
RTA is looking for for them to be able to put an electric charge station in. We should tell
Yeah, we'll absolutely mention it.
Yeah, do mention that.
And again, the other reality, quite frankly, we've talked about this and we've seen it in times of emergency, winter weather emergencies, certainly post-hurricane. We don't have a lot of fuel supply relative to our tourist growth, our population growth. There's been many times I bet all of us have pulled up and there's been a little yellow bag around our fuel. So
or a line out in 361 to get gas.
And again, I don't certainly, there's a lot of uses that property could have had, but from an emergency manager standpoint, I think, it's nice to have a more abundant fuel supply around here when you need it. So.
Plus we have lighting ordinances that would.
We hope this.
All of those will be, and again, with properties like this, all of them, but these in particular, with proximity to the airport, they'll be under a magnifying glass. And,
right.
But again, these type companies, my experience, in the 8 years has been when they come in a year in advance and want to know what our rules are and want to know our ordinances, they do that because they want to comply. So we'll trust, but we'll verify.
And if what you see on the websites, what I've seen of their existing buildings, if they go to that kind of architectural look, it's not a bad look, but I hope they stay consistent.
Yeah, I'm assuming they're going to, but I don't know.
We'll find out.
I went to two of them,
when
and
you look at their...
they both looked very, very similar. Obviously, they modified it to fit on the lot for whatever size property they had, but it was all like the cut stone or the split stone face, and they had like a little peeked out front. So it's not like just a big wall.
Yeah, they're a branded product, so they want to maintain that. They want that look.
Yeah. So. Do you know what the proposed size is so far? Have you seen that?
We have civil plans that we've looked at, but again, since the plat wasn't approved, we hadn't made.
No idea, yeah.
But the paper read than 10,000 square feet.
Well, that's pretty small compared to other existing.
Yeah, our limit that we put are
25,000.
25,000. Yeah.
As I said, it's on
25. The limit that we did 10 years ago or something. The big box stores, yeah.
It's 25.
25.
And I think for comparison, IGA is just about there.
Yeah, at 20. Yeah.
Yeah, IGA is 24 or something.
This is what it looks like.
Yeah, and each of the shopping centers, that are along 361, each of those, buildings, I think are like 75 or 8,000. And so like where the Tower Center, there's three of them, and so that's a comparison. So in like the shops at Port A kind of, so I think, if it's going to be half that size or something.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's only going to be twice the size of the Stripes across the street. So it's not 10,000 square feet sounds big if it's a house, but it's not big as a retail.
And again, other than doing nothing on that site, I just can't imagine a better use than a single story use, regardless of what that is, but a single story, because it could have been a much higher, and obviously although the airport hazard map would certainly allow a higher structure, having one lower, in my opinion, is not a bad thing.
Will there be any traffic plan that goes along with their planning? Because they're right there going to be pulling out like they are all the time in Stripes. So
well, the good part is that there's a light there, and that's the best control you can have.
Go to the light, it would be fine, but they don't, right? They try to get out.
Well, I think you see gas stations on typically every intersection corner. I think the good part is that people are used to the condition.
Right, but it's nice to use light. You're right. That's
Yeah. Plus, it's going to be
the fact that it's a family-owned station too. That it's a family-owned business.
The good part is that you can't turn into it southbound on 361. There's a raised curve. So you're forced to go into the turn lane, make your turn on 1A on a protected light. Now northbound, you got to come through the intersection to get there. So that is a good thing that we're not going to have cars sitting southbound making that turn directly in, dodging that oncoming northbound.
Well, because that's a state highway, they'll have to get their driveway and entrances plan approved by TxDOT, right? I mean, that's not necessarily a.
I think they had already had approval with.
That's why they only have one on 361.
When we did that expansion and the medians and all of that road work, I think those were already anticipated. They could petition to move them, but I think what they already have in place will work.
Right. And I think even the one in Goliad, it also had only one off of 59.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a big entrance, but it was only one of them. So motion to approve.
Second. Call the roll.
Councilmember Crawford.
Yes.
Councilmember Clark.
Yes.
Councilmember Owens.
Yes.
Chairperson Moore.
Yes.
Mayor Breon.
Yes.
Councilmember Holt.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, item D, discuss, take appropriate action on the final plat, 210473, a final plat of lots 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, block 1 of Carr Corner.
Thank you, Mayor. This property right down the street from us on the corner of Gulf and Avenue A is a subdivision of 3 lots into now 5 lots. Again, a little bit, 4 of them will be a little smaller. One of them will be a little bit larger, the one on the far end nearest us. Again, very straightforward, a situation that we're seeing more and more. Like I said, just a subdivision for our ordinances of into a little bit more lots. Of note is the fact that, again, as we subdivide these lots and we do go sub 5,000, all of these lots that now will be sub 5,000, which is 4 out of the 5, will be subject to the 27-foot height limitation. So again, there's sometimes when people comment, oh, we're just cramming more. We do limit that. So there is a scale scope relationship on the smaller lots that was put in place when we went to allowing the smaller lots. I like to point that out. The one lot will be over 5,000 and we'll still be allowed to go to our 35 to mid-pitch height limit. But again, just a very straightforward plat, just a combination of the 3 lots into the 5 lot configuration.
So those small lots still have all the setbacks and everything?
Still have all the setbacks and parking requirements.
And I wondered what happened. Was there something there before, or why is that lot available?
I believe it was wasn't it a manufactured home?
No, they had a house on the.
Oh, that's right. It was a house.
It badly destroyed by
Yeah. It got.
And it was kind of sprawled out. So the house was removed. There was a shed that remained. I think it was just recently removed. If it's not, it was a condition of this, the recording, that it be removed prior to, but it was just kind of a sprawling multiple lot compound.
Just curious, speaking of conditions, it said the water district memorandum and the engineer survey statement must be included prior to recording of plat. I could not find those statements. What were they? It's
part of our platting ordinance to where it's just a statement that they make. The water district has a signature line on there. It has just been our practice. Okay. Some debate as to whether or not it was required, but it's part of our planning ordinance. The engineer has to make that statement that it conforms with, the city requirements as well. And they always do. I mean, Jim comes in and signs the plat.
Sure.
As our city engineer.
Okay.
And discussion? Motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Call the roll.
Chairperson Moore.
Yes.
Councilmember Owens.
Yes.
Councilmember Clark.
Yes.
Councilmember Crawford.
Yes.
Councilmember Holt.
Yes.
Mayor Breon.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item E, discuss and take appropriate action on the final plat 210474 is a plat of Pamelia Beach, PUD Unit 3B. And we'll turn it over to Rick again.
Thank you, Mayor. Again, another very, very routine plat. Again, this representing one of our planned unit developments down south, Palmia, just taking the next, another phase of their master plan and platting it to create developable, sellable lots. So this is just, again, a continuation of a previously approved plan. Again, just so that they have that next phase ready to sell and build. Certainly seems to be the demand for it. So these are becoming pretty commonplace now. There was, again, all the utilities approved, planning and zoning approved, just a minor reference to the correction of a recording, the recording information volume and page, which Urban did. And that was really it.
What was that lot that they were talking about? It was 0 flood level, and what were they doing with it? And we're talking about flood levels in the properties that they were subdividing, and one was very low.
Oh.
And I wondered,
Are you talking about this? Is it this spot right here that they're just kind of making one lot and do nothing with?
is that what they're going to do?
That's what it looked
Right.
like.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out what
Yeah,
what
we
it
don't-
was, but maybe it was.
I'll be honest, we don't, like I said, it really doesn't matter much to us because
Sorry.
we require all of the finished floors be to the proper elevation.
They couldn't build on, that's why they're blocked out.
Okay.
So
So it looked like they were blocked out.
yeah,
And
so whatever they do, they still need to elevate those things to the proper, to the proper height. And,
Right.
and again, just a quick note too, procedurally, we have now gone to requiring Formwork Surveys on all of our new construction, which means that we want to see a survey at the foundation stage so that it's just one less opportunity for them not to get it poured exactly right. And that's again, just for FEMA, just to keep us on the up and up with FEMA. And like I said, it's a small added expense to the builder, but it's a lot safer for us to ensure that slab gets poured at the right elevation. Just a side note. So recommend approval.
Motion to approve.
Second,
Second.
call roll.
Councilmember Owens,
Yes.
Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Holt,
yes,
Councilmember Crawford,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Moore,
Yes.
Mayor Booyan.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item F is discuss and take appropriate action on final plat 210471. Final plat, Block 1, Port Aransas, 9th Street.
Yeah, so for those that have been around a little bit, you'll remember this was the dirt on which the Malibu resided for many years.
right. I remember that.
Actually, I think one of the first places I ever crashed was at the Malibu as a much younger person. But it is now, again, the subject of our discussion. Only two lots being combined into the one. However, there was a road dedication, as you'll see on that 9th Street side. So that hence brought it to planning and zoning and ultimately to you guys. So that's really the only thing of any unique nature of this particular plat, other than the unique building lines where 10th Street, a public street, hits that property. Again, the build line, the property had to be, any properties that would be built have to be, again, those appropriate distances from the way 10th Street connects to it. So
I thought I was about to ask, why is that not a corner and is a diagonal?
just because of the way the different setbacks are required.
From all those different
Well, I
properties.
mean, normally it gets cut off. You get like a box here where you can't build, and they have I was just curious, because I've never seen a diagonal cut line, build line.
That's the bare minimum. They could have boxed it in, but
Who's trying to get in?
Michael. It's Michael.
sorry, Darla, there's the keys.
Walker in.
But that's why, because again, 10th Street does dead end into that, so it just has to kind of circumnavigate around there. The build lines looking
Sure.
to encroach.
Where's the?
So here's 10th Street. This is the alley that's closed. This is 9th Street. This is my old house.
And again,
Well, this is 9th Street. This is the right of way.
And again, same comment was made, for whatever reason, the statements were left off the plat. That just needs to be there for signatures on part of the engineer in the water district.
Okay, any other questions?
Motion to approve. Motion to approve.
Second.
Call the roll.
Jefferson Moore,
Yes.
Councilmember Owens,
Yes.
Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Crawford,
Yes.
Councilmember Holt,
Yes.
Mayor Brion.
Yes.
Motion carried.
I'm going to call a break right here, restroom break. 5 minutes, folks.
You can sit down. Rest.
Mike comes in and we have to cancel the meeting.
I'm telling you, bringing everybody off.
So.
Well, this is where we're gonna bring in dinner. That's why we're gonna have a snack break.
So the library got off.
Well, I never, okay. So this is for big. Well, we already just had it, so we should not go and have it. It's terrible because when we opened the January.
Breaking it in line,
right? No, I'm breaking it in line. Increased and then March when it came.
Did you drive the RV up or? Yeah, they're sitting on the side watching LSU baseball. LSU. I got the whole. LSU? LSU. 2-0. South Carolina, number 11.
I don't know.
What's
LSU?
Not ranked.
Really?
Yeah, there you
That
go.
would be close. We didn't.
I didn't think
it
liked
was. You don't.
I like baseball. I'm not a basketball guy. And I like LSU. That's the one thing about LSU I'll cheer for is baseball. When we were little kids, that was back.
Do you like pro baseball? See, we got one of your best LSU players ever.
But when we were.
Well, but you didn't play last time. It's hard.
Oh,
COVID protocol. There were like, there were like 7 players. Saturday. Reconvened. It'd be good for the event that she's having.
Well, Brooklyn played last year. The Nets played last night at 76ers, that's 1-2.
And then we're doing another event with the ID, with the nature. Oh, yeah, yeah.
It'd be interesting to see what.
So we're gonna need their event with all of our books and with our new automations, so that'll be fun. I think we all have. Before they all go.
I'm not walking back, this whole.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be happy when the summer's over. It's like so handy. Like I really like to see any children or anything all summer. Yeah. I think it's got a couple of issues. We're gonna have to.
I stole Dave's candy, so now he's over here.
Yeah, he's over there rating everybody else's.
Just eat dinner.
Yes.
Get a little snack.
Are you having to go home and cook?
No, but there won't be anything there.
Are you trying to tell me something?
Frank, can you see me?
There'll be nothing waiting for Dave.
Yeah, 'cause I'm left-handed. Said I'm left-handed. As he's trying to tell me something. She gave me all the left
I was
ones.
just thinking that, it's like, well.
On the screen?
What's Trace on?
I'm gonna put it back.
Callie.
Oh, he had it, I mean, not that he's probably still there, he coached T-ball tonight, so. And Callie and Lexi, and their little group, Emma, and anyway, they go to Irish, they have a Thursday night Irish date.
What?
Chuck's daughter, my daughter, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Ah, that's
They're
funny.
living higher than we are, trust me.
Man.
Gotta rush her over there now, if I'm late, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What did you say, Beth?
Can you see me on the screen?
I can, you're
You're very, very dark. Like you're in.
You have funny sunglasses.
Yeah, I got glasses.
That's what I would do. Hey, there you go, Mary. You can do city council meeting just in bed. You know, just like lay back. And
That'd be
I
nice.
am in bed.
you were in bed. Work.
So Saturday, Miles got on a Zoom call with Texas A&M University Galveston.
Oh, yeah.
And they had this Saturday by the Sea Zoom call. This one kid, just sleeping sideways, right? And he's got his camera on him, and he slept for 2 hours. And then at one point, he gets up and kind of stretches and yawns, looks around. And you can see all there were professors on there and other students, and everyone's shoulders are like doing this, And Miles was laughing so hard he could not help himself.
And what class was it?
It was an introduction to
potential
looking at students.
Because I went to school there.
It was mainly juniors and seniors in high school, and this kid just slept for 2 hours.
Oh my God, he must have had a big night.
A phony name.
It had his name.
Well, he probably won't get that.
I'm sure the dean of admissions was sitting there going,
He's a winner.
Juan Cassavetes. No.
Okay, I'm back.
One in his class.
Yeah.
I'm back, Mr. Mayor.
Oh, you bet. All right, let's open up again. All right, now back to order. And we're done with the 9th Street, right?
Yep, I think we're just.
G. Yep.
G. Item G. Discuss and take action to confirm that no dune permit BFDP 210488 is consistent with the coastal management plan. Applicants seek to establish that no critical dunes exist will be affected by critical dunes that exist will be affected by replacing an existing timber retaining wall with a low-rise concrete retaining wall and extend the improvements to replace a wire fence, and the applicant is Sandcastle Holdings.
Thank you, Mayor. So I suspect a lot of you, if not all, have seen the substantial renovation to the old Seaside Motel. It's on the north side of Sandcastle as you're going down. And so this is in relation to that property, because you probably have also seen the old timber and cable retaining wall that they have on that same property. So this simply proposes to replace that old railroad tie retaining wall with a low-rise concrete retaining wall. And really just as simple as that. That's the only thing involved along that one side. So it's really a replacement. But we did ask that, even though it's a replacement, it was just safer to get a no dune permit on their part, and they didn't object. So
is it going to be far enough away to not actually damage the city curbing when they put it in? Because it looks like it's got a big, wide triangle base.
Yeah, it will be, and we do have an agreement that before they actually start, they'll get with the city. This probably will prove advantageous for both, for them, since we do hold them responsible for maintaining it. We'll be a little bit flexible in allowing them to replace it on our right of way. Like I said, because we do hold them responsible, as we do Sandcastle on the other side for maintaining that, which when you watch is kind of challenging because it's kind of grown up and it's a pretty steep grassy area down to the sidewalk, attractive, but I feel for those guys that have to maintain it. So this will be kind of the same thing. This will probably create that same kind of rounded berm down to the sidewalk.
Okay. Motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
Call the roll.
Councilmember Owens?
Yes.
Moore?
Yes.
Councilmember Clark?
Yes.
Councilmember Crawford?
Yes.
Councilmember Holt?
Yes.
Mayor Bia?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item H, discuss and take action to confirm that no dune permit BFDP 210666 is consistent with the coastal management plan. Applicants seek to establish that no critical dunes will be affected by the construction of beach showers. The applicant is City of Port Aransas. Property location is on the beach at Sandcastle Drive.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. This we again left on the agenda anticipating the comment letter from the GLO, which we got literally about 4:15 this afternoon. I'm going to go through this real quickly, but I'm going to ask that you not take any action, simply because the GLO deemed our no dune determination administratively incomplete, simply because we didn't address whether there would be any temporary or permanent closures to the beach during our construction time. I'm sorry, let me digress. This proposal is for construction of another needed beach shower structure, much like the other ones. Again, almost the exact same kind of layout as you have down at Avenue G and the other.
G1A1, all Lantana.
Same kind of 5-head, little changing room area, privacy area. But because we didn't address that, the only reason like I said, I could probably ask that you would go ahead and approve it anyway. They did mention in the same comment letter about our need, and this is something that they're getting very, very threatening and just bringing into play after being absent for about 12 years, and that's the need for a lease on anything that comes across GLO land, as this would.
Yeah.
As do all the others, as do all the boardwalks and everything else. Which if there hasn't been any activity or dune permitting on any of these older existing structures, like Sea Isle, for example, that just laid down these Moby mats, the GLO is now getting very, very overzealous in renewing, requiring they be applied for and or renewed, a bona fide lease.
So they want us to get leases for all these little wooden deck shower facilities.
So rather than take action, we'll.
Is that going to be hard?
No, well, I mean, just something you got to do.
Well, we hope not.
We hope not. I mean,
and I'm
lately
assuming
nothing's
not
been
gonna be
easy.
free.
But I mean, what's next? Getting a lease for the bollards, for signs. I mean, it's absolutely
pickups.
ridiculous.
Or you just quit asking the GLO and you do it.
So I'll ask you to take no action. I just wanted to lay it out since it was on the agenda. We'll bring it back for a vote.
Actually, before we table it, can I ask you a question on this one? And the only reason I'm asking is the one that you were showing, it looks like it's almost out in the driveway. And the only thing I'm just worried about from a safety standpoint, is when people drive by, you can already see there's dirt tracks there. They're going to walk in that shower and be right in the line of traffic.
It will not be. It'll not be. If the photos indicate that, it'll be adjusted as needed to make sure it's not.
It'll be nestled right up against that vertical dune line, just like G. And
I'll say, if I remember correctly, there used to be a shower there, but the shower was more towards the beach. It was actually this area here and not so much in the driveway.
No, we've never had a shower, not at St. Castle.
Maybe I'm thinking of G Street.
G had a shower put in by that subdivision right at the end of their concrete wall.
Yeah.
Which is no longer in use. But the ones we put in, Bruce, they'll be nestled right up against that north. We always put them on the north side of the dune so that people can, pull in as they're exiting the beach and get washed off and then transition.
Well, I just want to make sure that it's not like going to be like people when we walking out of the shower and cars can go by.
Oh, no. We'll have tuck back.
And we will respond to GLO. There'll be no impact to beach access during that construction. It's a pretty simple, quick process. So there won't be any access.
Can we approve it conditioned on?
Condition upon cleaning that rather than have it come back?
What are the two conditions? The
lease and the
lease
and the.
Well, you didn't say lease.
No,
they want a lease.
But they didn't say that.
So again, just they're real quick. I'll just read them. So the information regarding any proposed temporary closures to impacts of public beach access during construction, the city may not close or impair the existing beach public access without prior approval from GLO. One of the bullet points as to why it was incomplete. The proposed construction is located on GLO land, therefore a new or amended surface lease is required to be obtained from the GLO's Corpus Christi office prior to construction.
Yeah, so let's just say motion based on
the approval of GLO.
Approval of beach closure from the GLO and the approved GLO lease.
Okay, I make a motion that we approve based on the GLO lease and the GLO approval for no closing of the beach.
Second. Call the roll.
Councilmember Holt?
Yes.
Councilmember Crawford?
Yes.
Councilmember Clark?
Yes.
Councilmember Owens?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Moore?
Yes.
Mayor Beal?
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right.
Hey. Item I, is a resolution authorizing the submittal of an application for the 2021 Emergency Management Performance Grants, EMPG, a program to assist in enhancing and sustaining all hazards emergency management capabilities, designated EMPG. Grant officials approving the EMPG statement of work and allowable expenses for which funding is requested under Exhibit A, and providing all other matters relating to said grant program.
Thank you, Mayor. So I've done this every year that I've been here. This is, again, a grant that comes down from the feds through TDEM for allocation. Most significantly, it reimburses us for about $69,000 in salaries. Mostly mine, some of Chief's, and a portion of Rob Maxim, Colonel Maxim. And then the other remaining money are for things that we can use. We've got a couple of shipping containers in this year's to just store some of our emergency management stuff, cots. So we never pulled the trigger, a radio and some other miscellaneous stuff. So it is a 50% match, but most all of these things, and again, the salaries are kind of no-brainers because that they're paying those anyway, I hope, Captain. So again, this is just another submittal, as we've done for the previous 8 years.
It'll save us money, 50%.
Yep.
Yeah.
Rick becomes half as expensive. Motion to approve.
Second. Call
Second.
roll.
Councilmember Crawford,
Yes.
Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Owen,
Yes.
Councilmember Holt,
Yes.
Mayor Tim Moore,
Yes.
Mayor Buham.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item J is a resolution approving professional services agreement, amendment number 4 to the 2018 Disaster Recovery Consulting Services Contract with Broadus and Associates, approving proposed scope of service amendments, setting terms, conditions, fees, and effective date, authorizing the city manager to negotiate contract agreement, and sign all contract documents.
We came to y'all in January with a no-cost change, try to move some of the projects along and see where we're at for the budget. We did have a meeting this week with FEMA leadership out of both Denton and Austin. Still have some hurdles, no doubt, but this is to carry us through April 22nd of next year.
April 30th.
30th, I'm sorry,
Year
2022.
30 days says September, April, June, and November.
So FEMA is moving right along, huh?
Oh, yeah, at a rapid pace.
Or they're retreating instead of moving forward.
Well, we're not retreating.
Did everybody change again?
It's the game, right? They try to just wear you out to where you throw in the towel. We did have the binder you see there for Darla. I mean, we have all our backup for the communication lines from start to finish. How long we've been talking about Charlie's Pasture Bulkhead from January 2018 when we got here about the ownership between GLO to where we are today. Denied the Port Street repairs when the asphalt slid off the top of it. So I feel confident that we have a very good, solid case. We did on public safety and then on the fire station, pulled out of arbitration to work with them.
How's their new software working? I know they told us they had this great software that'd be able to maintain records.
The portal works great if they use it, but we end up there.
We've been here long enough.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's what the binder is. That's all evidence of how many times we've provided it to
Right.
same stuff. So it was frustrating 2 weeks ago to start putting this thing together to see that, I mean, their turnover of 9, 10, 11 people, but we talked to every one of them about the same thing. Same questions. Paul Morris is back from FEMA.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is a very big plus. He had to go out on a duty call for Coast Guard.
Yeah, he was Coast Guard.
He was on the call Tuesday with us.
Yeah, he went on what, a 2-year?
It was a year plus. We got
How long was Paul out?
He was out for COVID and then.
Year.
Oh, it was longer than a year.
Yeah, and maybe about 16 months.
Yeah, so he's gone and done a 1.5 years active duty with the Coast Guard, and then he's come back and it's exactly where it was.
Yeah, he
You're
didn't,
like, hey, still here.
Yeah.
he didn't seem too happy. I will say, since we met on Tuesday, I mean, this is sad that this is the win, but they've agreed to pay for all the sod at McDonald Ball Field, which we've been fighting since before we started construction. The Station Street bathrooms that we just put the temporary fencing back up yesterday for, just to protect that area. They did tell us today it is eligible. The outfall pipes, we had 2 30-inch drainage running under the bathrooms, and then 1 30-inch running across the parking lot at a diagonal. We proposed 2 36 inches to run across the parking lot and down. They asked us to move it, but said it was eligible finally. So we can get that change order out to Island, get them started. Jim's got to make a few changes and then finally get that work done. So, I mean, it's a chess match.
We did meet with TDM leadership 2 weeks ago. And, you know, what's coming out of TDM is that it's a statewide disaster.
Harvey problem.
Harvey recovery is a statewide disaster. We're not like, no, sir, not by any stretch of the imagination. It's every county, every city, every municipality. We're all in this.
It's a leadership issue at FEMA. I've been in this since December of 2005, and we have staff on other disasters from last year. It's a leadership issue in Denton for this Texas team. They're terrible. I'm sure somebody's listening in, but that's the best way to put it. And 498 days on a decision we put in front of them. Simple decision too, that they've been holding on approval for. So we did scale back last year, not only because of COVID, but also because the work. That's how we were able to get to this point before coming to a cost amendment. But I still feel like we have our ducks in a row, and are going to be successful in this. I do. I feel like all the information, we've checked all the boxes, we put all their stuff in their software to prove our case, and it's a case of evidence that we've done everything and provided things numerous times. If you remember, 587 days ago today, we met with Tony Robinson. Before we went to DC, they asked for 60 days. That didn't work, so December of 19, right before COVID, we went to DC. That was about time Paul left.
Maybe we need to go back and go after region.
We do. We made NIM Kid aware of how the meeting went on Tuesday. And we do need to go back. I would say we hold out. Confirmations are going on right now, so we don't have a FEMA director again. Confirmed. So I would wait till that occurs. And I would wait till the COVID lifts, because I don't feel the Zoom meetings for that purpose, or I feel Zoom is very successful for a lot of meetings. I don't feel like a Zoom meeting with headquarters would be a good use of our time. So hopefully the vaccines are kicking in and we have that opportunity real soon to go to DC in person, meet with the new director.
I mean, yeah, they've hid behind the phone calls for a year now, solid.
Do you, I mean, I would think that in making NIM Kid aware, because he is the governor's, right-hand emergency guy, would have some success, but.
We're doing it. I mean, we're exhausting every effort.
Remember when we saw NIM Kid up in Austin in 2019 legislature?
Yeah.
I do.
He's hiding from us.
He was.
Working off a trash can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was in the corner, matter of fact.
He was sick of hearing it from everyone.
Yeah.
About the same story.
About the same nightmare stories.
Mm-hmm.
You need to say something about budget.
What item are we even on right now?
We're on.
Oh, yeah.
Contract.
Yeah.
I don't want to throw bombs on y'all when it gets to budget workshop, but there is a deadline that FEMA has imposed for something called PAPDAT. And that is how we are able to pay our consultants, and they are putting a deadline of, we entered a pilot program when Harvey hit for 5% PAPDAC. And that
PAPDAC
is
is
how
public assistance.
program direct
Alternative procedure,
alternative
direct administration costs.
direct administration cost. And direct administration cost is how you pay your consultants to assist you through the recovery of the hurricane. They are putting a deadline on PAPDAC to only pay 5% on anything that is obligated by August 25th of 2021.
So obligated doesn't mean built and paid for. It just means that your project has gone through all the different reviews, and basically they've blessed it and have said, we're going to fund it. That's
We're going to fund it for this
that's
amount.
obligated. So you got to get all your projects to that stage, to FEMA blessing them with obligation by August 25th.
Of 2021. We
Yeah,
have
coming up.
put in a formal request to the state to extend that deadline, and we discussed it in our call Tuesday, and that is going to have to be pushed up to FEMA headquarters to get an extension of that.
And they kind of laughed at it.
We don't know what's going to happen with it. It is completely unfair because this is 100% out of the city's control. It's 100% out of Broadus's control. It's all in FEMA's court.
Okay, I'm just,
We talked to
It should be a statewide fight.
Congressman Cloud
And it is
about
a
this.
statewide fight.
We
Pardon?
talked to Congressman Cloud about this.
We need to.
but this is about paying Broadus, not about like all the FEMA projects that Broadus is doing for us. Is that correct?
Right, it won't affect your gas system. It's locking in our.
It's locking in their fee.
Sure. So, but this is, even if we do this, we prove this tonight, you're good until next year of April 30th. Because we're obligated, tonight we're obligating money to pay you, but next year you're gonna come to us with hat in hand and we're gonna be like, we got no money.
No, it seems like she's saying we're not going to have enough money to
We
pay
don't
them.
have funding until August 5th, 2021.
Well, it depends on, you got to look at which projects at that
Are
point
obligated.
are obligated or not. You know, our goal is kind of twofold: push for the extension, get statewide attention, go through Cloud, Corn, and Cruz, get the state of Texas to pick up the fight because everyone's in the same boat. While that's happening, we also push to get as many projects obligated before the deadline as possible. So that worst case scenario, maybe we have 2 or 3, and our remaining projects are most of our big ones, but you have 2 or 3 that are, you just try to reduce that number as low as you can of unobligated projects.
Which the unobligated are still the fire station and the.
Fire station, public
Big
safety.
ones.
Two biggies.
Some of it, to some extent.
It
Right,
has
to
some money,
extent, yeah.
not, maybe it has 30% of the funding, but public safety has,
$1.5 million.
so it has some, but not
Has some,
nearly
but
enough.
Not all. And there's a lady at TDM named Sherry LaCour. Sherry LaCour is actually, Nim Kidd is not the main person that's leading the recovery for TDM. Sherry LaCour is, I forget what her title is,
She's the
but
public
she's
assistant.
the public assistance chief, branch chief. And she is going to have to fight for everybody in the state because we met with her 2 weeks ago and she said this is not unique to Puerto Ricans. It is a statewide problem. And TDM's going to have to go to bat for us. We're going to have to go to legislature and try to get them to fight for us and everyone else. It's not unique to us.
But I think we also need to, we need to do a spreadsheet for council because
Yes.
we still have a lot of positive benefits that are going towards us, and that's the state picking up 75%. So that's a huge lift right there for us. If you were to calculate the city being on 10%, which, I mean, did any states ever come in and pick up other people's 10%?
They do at different times, but not like this.
Right. So, I mean, we're already getting a huge cost reduction.
Huge.
So we need a spreadsheet so you guys can look at those numbers.
We do, and the reason I'm bringing this up, because this will be a conversation at budget workshop.
Sure. Yeah.
That's when we're gonna have a lot
So
of
basically telling
things
us we're having any money to budget for anything else.
ready for you. Pardon?
So we can't.
No, it's just that, remember when we talked about the importance of bonding and not getting our bond debt too out of control, because there would be a time in the Harvey rebuild where we do have to put up a significant bond for something, because not all the money can be fronted. So, that's something where this would come into play.
And I just wanted to plant the seed now so that when we get in a budget workshop, you're not like, what? We never had any of this discussion that's like today, but.
Well, I think, and especially since you are going to have some new, fresh council people for the budget workshop, that this is going to be important to have those spreadsheets, because you're really going to have it. It's going to be an immense learning curve, because they're not going to get it the first time.
No.
And
there's a lot there.
Yeah.
No.
We've been through it.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just wanted to get that clear.
So with that said, with this that we're on right now, thank you guys, because I know it's been a tough road, and we couldn't, I can imagine if you guys weren't helping us. We
would have nothing.
Yeah.
Listen, we're just as frustrated. We take it personal. It's a grade on our work when we don't even have a study guide.
Right.
But we'll get there.
We would have lost staff, I can say that, because there are people who are eligible to retire that probably would have retired.
Is that a hint?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve the professional service agreement amendment number 4.
Second. Call the roll.
Mayorperson Moore,
Yes.
Councilmember Owens,
Yes.
Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Crawford,
Yes.
Councilmember Holt,
Yes.
Mayor Beal.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item K is presentation, general discussion from Brodus and Associates on Hurricane Harvey recovery.
Yeah, so let's.
Excuse me, I'm gonna bug out. Anybody needs a shot tomorrow morning? You're ready for vaccination clinic, so.
Can you get 3 shots? Can you get 3?
And we can do
There's
youth.
gonna be some extras.
Scott was wondering.
Oh,
if we
you
should
can
get
do
our
youth
third
Yeah,
shot.
Miles is going tomorrow.
Yeah.
But then are they going to come back and do a second one?
We'll get them. We'll try.
If they do a first shot, they're on their own for their second shot.
They're on their own?
We'll figure it out.
Okay.
Let Trey know if anybody needs one.
For sure now, since we voted down the bill.
So
Back to you.
a few more updates that I didn't talk about earlier. The temporary bulkhead is coming along. We had a little equipment hiccup again this week, but it's back up and driving. They were doing welding for the 2 days.
Oh, I thought they were supposed to finish already, but something happened, huh?
No, the equipment has been giving them some struggles, but they brought another piece out yesterday. So they lost 1 day of downtime, but it's a lot of welding. It's where it needs to be.
Okay.
We'll still finish within the contract terms. I'm pretty confident. We are expecting April 22nd to hear back on the peer review for the biological study for all 3 piers technically. However, Ansel Brundrett, the Corps is still going to make us shrink that one. So if I was a guessing person, we're going to get full clearance on the other 2. Those constructions will start while we work with the Corps on permitting for the 3rd. Gas high pressure is nearing its start. We also submitted an amendment trying to catch that August 25th deadline for $25 million for the gas system distribution to reconcile for all the cost escalation for materials and stuff. So had we had done this project when we asked FEMA 2 years ago, 587 days ago, would have cost about $21 million. We anticipated it cost about 25. So we lost 4 million because of the process. But we're moving it forward. FEMA has the boardwalk on the south side for review, environmental review. In the nature preserve, we're working on that right now. We did go ahead and get some of the studies from Colleen on the birding counts and stuff, which has helped us push some attention to the blowout and the land loss. We worked so hard to protect the animals and all the reviews and all the processes we put in place. So we're presenting the same facts to get the fill put back that we lost. So we're working on that with an uphill battle, but we're working it. And then we did submit the stuff to EDA for all the parking out at the marina area. That EDA grant, that was approved. And so that's moving forward. I think that's the top stuff. Gas, piers, EDA grant moving. Public safety and fire, we're in that same thing. The arbitration was pulled back 4 months ago, asking us to work through it. We have been in constant contact. Charles Schexnayder, the attorney from FEMA, and basically told him, we'll see you back in court. The process to keep moving. So we have made some settlements on that. The elevation, the percentages for the design fees and stuff have been accepted, the soft cost. So there are some things positive came out of it. We still have the circulation, the differences in square feet, and we still have costs that I think the economy and the materials and the bids coming in support our costs, if not now. I mean, if not then, much more now. So we have that information. We continue to update those costs as steel increases, as cost of wood increases. So that way FEMA recognizes these delays and what they're costing the taxpayers.
So in reference to the gas line that you made that comment about the $4 million, imagine what it's doing fire station, this whole process.
Yeah, I mean, steel, it's up 300%. Wood, I mean, people right now building residential, you're seeing
plywood going $35 to $105 a sheet.
I've got a neighbor who's substantially over budget for framing, $50,000. I mean, that's just unheard of. So, and y'all have seen it. You see the housing market and what it's doing. So we have to recognize those costs, and we've been trying to leverage that, recognizing that had we been where we were 2 years ago and some action been taken, it would have been a substantial savings to FEMA.
Well, is there a chance that we're going to run short and that when they say, okay, fine, we're going to give you your $21 million, but it's really going to cost us 24 or 25 for the piping or fire stations, originally it was $5 million. Now it's going to be $7 million because of increased material cost.
Because we haven't settled on that cost, we're escalating it as the time goes, Bruce.
Okay.
I can't,
Sure.
If we settle today and it takes us 18 months to design and it keeps going the way it's going, yeah, there's a chance we could be.
But the interesting part is FEMA, they're not bean counters. They're rule followers. And the rules are way more important than looking down the road and saying, you know what, if we don't do these 4 rules, we can cut our costs in half. They don't do that. They're like, nope, we have to follow the rules. And the money, it's almost irrelevant where the money comes out. It really is. They throw money like it's.
Yeah, I mean, the piers, for example, shrink the pier, Ansel Brundred Pier. So we're going to go to bid. We're going to rebid it. We have a good, solid cost right now that the contractor's willing to hold. Let's build it. They don't care.
No, because it's not the rule. The rule says you got to do X, Y, and Z.
The Army Corps of Engineer Land Department has to tell us to shrink it because they can. So on a lot of the projects, it's an act called gas.
Okay.
It benefits everybody if the 5% extended because it gives you more money to work with.
Okay. Well, that's fine. Then I didn't know if they were going to say, oh yeah, we approve it for dollar amount instead of like project completion.
It's different. The public safety and fire eventually will settle on a bucket of money. that one, those two. But we will settle on the money that is at the time we settle, not what the price would have been 2 years ago.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's it. I'll tell you, we have a lot of stuff. Finally, infrastructure, I foresee in the second quarter, finally, the public being able to witness the fruit. A lot of watering, but I think we'll finally see some fruit second and third quarter this year.
Oh, you do seem kind of depressed.
No, it's frustrating. When the exercise, like, we literally, it was deja vu, putting this presentation together for Paul, who's returning. And you go through these emails and realize you're saying the same thing.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything like it before. Recoveries are slow. I remember telling you all that very early and try to reiterate that a lot of times when I talk to you. This is insane.
Right.
And it's a leadership problem, no doubt. Hopefully Paul will come rattle some cages. He showed that sign at least Tuesday.
Good, I hope so.
Hope for the best.
I mean, gotta get someone pissed off up there.
We try. They don't like me, I promise.
Yeah.
Great seeing y'all.
Yes, in person, live in
Yes,
person.
live in
Yep.
person.
That was nice, right?
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
And I like your crawdad.
Oh, thank you. Crawfish season.
All right.
Figure it's fitting. Y'all have a great
Thank
night.
you.
Thank
I like that Yeti hat too. Would you
No,
please leave it?
Thanks, all.
Uh-huh.
All right. All right.
Okay. We're at
L.
L, right?
Item L, discuss and take action to appoint members to the Animal Shelter Advisory Council. And we have
There are 4
apparently 4
places.
openings.
And 3 applicants.
So the applicants, we had James,
City manager.
Yeah. I know what I'm gonna motion.
we did not get a veterinarian, did we?
Oh, we got a retired.
Oh, wait, which one? Oh, wait.
Robert Corns.
That
She
should
said
count for
he's a
something.
retired veterinarian.
Chauncey, sorry, thanks.
Does it count?
They have to be licensed and I believe practicing.
Oh,
Oh,
well, at least there's a retired person.
Well, at least someone,
This board hasn't met since 2017.
Yeah, the hurricane kind of drew this board back a little bit. So we have James wants to re-up. He was on there before. And then Robert,
Retired veterinarian.
right, the retired vet, which I'm not sure we can. Yeah, he's retired. We need a
Right.
practicing working. And then the third one is
Are you a veterinarian?
Bruce
I
Clark.
am not a veterinarian. I was gonna point out, there apparently, at least in mine, there's an error on the application. It says, have you ever served on a permanent board or commission? And for some reason it says no, but that's clearly a yes. But if you click on your button, it will change. And so you may modify it.
So Bruce is going for seat 2, right? The council member seat.
Yep.
Then we have James going for seat 4. And then,
who was your appointment?
and then I'm appointing the last guy,
Okay, good.
the second guy. Robert.
Is Rick still a shelter employee?
Rick Gleason?
Yes.
Yes, he's.
Okay.
He's animal control.
I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's out on sick leave right now, but yeah, he's there. He's still there.
that's what I was wondering.
And then we'll be looking to appoint a
Previously, there
veterinarian.
was 2 positions that were citizens at large.
Yes.
That was created. So
Yes.
we can appoint
Both of these folks, can't we?
the
Yeah.
others to those positions. They just didn't end up on the report, the AIR report.
Chuck, you had a comment?
Do what? Okay, tell me, say that again?
So city council previously created two.
Yes.
Two extra positions.
Correct.
Citizen at large positions.
Yes.
In 2016.
Yes.
So, y'all could appoint those two other members to those.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, there's,
So point
I
two of them
think
to the
there was
citizen
open
position.
spots, and I didn't see
Yeah.
that it was a problem that all three basically were there, and it still left one person, which would have been, I guess, seat number one.
Veterinarian, yeah.
Because you have a welfare organization member, and you have a city manager as an appointee, and Dave can appoint the former veterinarian, Mr. what's his name? Sorry.
So y'all actively be looking for a
Cons.
veterinarian?
Yes, we can't get any veterinarians to apply.
It's just a recommendation. You don't have to come in and actually do something, do they? It's just come to a meeting once a month or twice a year or something?
Yes.
It's just to basically follow practice. Beth?
Oh, you're muted.
No. Beth?
You're muted.
You're muted, Beth.
You're muted.
Hey, Beth, you're muted. Can you hear us? There you go.
Yeah.
When the animal control board met last, what did y'all, what did y'all decide, or what was the experience?
Well, we had to, at that time, a lot of the cages, some of the cages were rusted, some of the fence was rusted. It needed to get fixed up a little. I don't know, since Harvey, it got worse, but I remember it just needed, it was getting pretty worn out, the cages and the metal.
But you weren't like recommending different practices or different animal care procedures, is that correct?
No, I don't believe so. I think isn't it still very well run by volunteers?
Go ahead.
Come on up, Chief.
Yeah.
It's as much as an oversight board as just an outside set of eyes looking at process and procedures and making some recommendations on occasions, but when it's non-binding, it's just kind of a check and balance to.
Yeah. Well,
and we spent a lot of donated money.
Right.
And they just kind of look over it and make sure that we're in line with the needs of the city, and it's not going to.
Well, I guess the reason why I'm kind of going this direction is Mr. Kuntz is a former retired veterinarian, and he probably still knows as much as someone who's currently licensed, which we can't currently find. So could he fulfill that place as a
Yeah, because Fran, this isn't the official vet that we use, right? That one has to be licensed.
The statute.
This is just
requires a vet to be on the
Yeah, it
board.
requires a vet.
Oh, the licensed.
Okay.
Yeah, there has to be, I don't remember what they were, but one of them had to be a vet, and one of them had to work for an animal rescue group or something like that.
Oh, that's right.
So.
Okay.
So let's just appoint the two to city, to the citizen at large, and then Bruce to the city council seat.
Yeah. I got roped into it.
I move that we do that if we're supposed to do that officially.
I'll second it.
Call the roll.
So we're gonna have, just to clarify, we'll have Councilmember Clark in place 2. We have Rick Lee, Mr. Wheeler, place 4.
Yep.
In place 5 would be Mr. Consis.
Right.
And,
That leaves place one open still.
That's it.
okay. All right. And I'm sorry, who made the motion?
Miss Holt?
In a second?
I seconded.
Thank you. Mayor Breedon?
Yes.
Mayor Moore?
Yes.
Councilmember Owens? Councilmember Clark?
I'm going to abstain.
Councilmember Crawford?
Yes.
Councilmember Holt?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Can't vote for yourself.
You know what? Why risk it?
Right. Okay, you like animals?
All right, Stephanie. Now
Enough.
it's
I
your
got two
turn.
kitty cats. Does that
Okay,
count?
I love
Item
it.
M, Mayor.
Okay, item N, discussion
M,
take action accepting the resignation of Patsy
Crosskoff.
from the Library Advisory Board, Place 3, appointing members to fill Place 3 and Place 6 of the Library Advisory Board for an unexpired term ending October 2021, and that's under item N.
Yeah, you got two really good applicants from what I've heard, both Ann Franks and
Scott.
Barbara. Yeah, both of them are really good. I do know Ann did a really bang-up job on the book sale, so she did a great job on that. But both are really would be really great on the board.
They both get seats. The only difference is one of them is an alternate, and really, I guess that's what matters.
But Ann was really instrumental in the recent book sale.
Okay, well then I'll nominate Ann for place 3 and Barbara Scott for the alternative place 6.
I'll second it.
Okay, call the roll.
Councilmember Holt,
Yes.
Councilmember Crawford,
Yes.
Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Owen,
Yes.
Chairperson Moore,
Yes.
Mayor Breeden.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item N is a resolution entering into a contract agreement for lobbying services for legislative consulting during the 87th legislature, funding from the general fund 050 Mayor and Council, account number 52211, professional services, setting terms, conditions, fees, and effective date, authorizing the city manager to sign all documents associated with said contract agreement.
Okay, so if you guys recall, at the last city council meeting, we lost our lobbyist due to a conflict issue. And I told you I would reach out to see if I could find someone to fill in, at least for the last 3 months of the legislative cycle. So I made some phone calls, got some recommendations of some good names, reached out to them, and the results I got, it was, kind of, all of them are pretty busy. A whole lot of them can't take on new clients at this time, but two of the recommended ones that I had before you, one was Eichler and Cook, firm out of Austin, came very highly recommended. The other firm was Carlos Truon, which you probably remember his name. His father was a representative in the area back in the 90s and early 2000s. Really great man. And this is his son, Carlos, who we've heard great things about. And Carlos's partner is with Stan Schuletter. If anyone wants to take a step, and had great conversations with both those guys. Very knowledgeable, come highly recommended. Could definitely do what we need to do for the legislative cycle. The biggest thing between the two, though, was the fact that Carlos and Stan are really more interested in a year term, whereas the Eichler and Cook group said that they could finish up the 3 months based on what we were paying our previous one. So they did come in more in line with what I was looking for.
Right.
Stan and Carlos, they made a good pitch about, why it's important to keep someone on for a year, to look out for your interests. They think that the legislative cycle could be extended. And then also you have a lot of, you have the the COVID relief money coming down the pike this late summer and fall. And there's going to be a lot of scratching and jockeying for that. So there are reasons why I think you could make the pitch for going after the extended one. I do think, though, that if we want to go after extended one, I think we need to really go out to an RFQ if that's what we're looking for and bring that back to you guys. But for now, really what I was hoping to get was just 3 months just to get us through. So you have those two choices, both really good groups of people, and they'd both do us a bang up job.
Well, I was just going to say, I'm going to throw it out there. I did think that, Truron, I know, I remember his father was a thing forever in the area. I just thought that was expensive, especially with the variable cost of $2,000 a month. That puts him at over $8,000 a month, which was considerably more than
a year.
No, a month.
Oh,
$8,000 a month.
did it say each?
It is up to $2,000 per month, up to $2,000 per month for reimbursable expenses, in addition to the $100,000.
Right.
And I just going back from what you said earlier is, we don't need constant thing. We're not a big city trying to lobby for every little rule change.
Yeah.
So I just go out there. I kind of like the idea of Cook. And I will say the flip side though is we may have a situation where if this SB 10 bill goes through, we can't lobby anymore anyway. So that would be the end of the contract. But I hate to really tie up our city funds $100,000 for something that we may or may not.
No, I understand. Yeah.
Well, 124,000.
Well, and I'm sure they're both qualified, but I feel like going with the alternate group who was willing to do just the 3 months would give us kind of like a 90-day review reset to where if in 90 days, if we felt like they weren't meeting our needs, if we wanted to switch to someone else, we could. Otherwise, locking into a year with, with the other guys puts us in the same situation where we may want to try to get out of our contract and we've already committed and we don't want to do that again. So.
So I'll make a motion if that's what we're looking for. We go with the Robbie Cook and Shara Eckler and Cook. Yes.
There's a second.
I'll second it.
Call the roll.
Chairperson Moore?
Yes.
Councilmember Owens?
Yes.
Councilmember Clark?
Yes.
Councilmember Crawford?
Yes.
Councilmember Holt?
Yes.
Mayor Bouillon?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, item O is a presentation, general discussion, possible action on SB 10, which would prevent a city or county from hiring staff, contracting with lobbyists or other professional advocates, or joining associations that engage in the advocacy at the state capitol. And I believe this is coming from Representative, I can't remember his name.
Middleton.
Yeah, he apparently does not want cities to have any.
Right, and then picked up by Bettencourt on the Senate side, which you sent Lois a letter on.
Yeah.
I would like so this is the anti-lobbying bill, basically prevents a city from hiring a lobbyist. It is gaining traction, so it's not dead, and this is definitely something, let's just, while we're here, let's pass a resolution of opposition and we'll get our new added to their list.
Okay, let's do it.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Motion
to add our name to the list of opposition to SB 10.
Second. Call the roll.
Councilmember Holt?
Yes.
Councilmember Crawford?
Yes.
Councilmember Clark?
Yes.
Councilmember Owens?
Yes.
Chairperson Moore?
Yes.
Mayor Bouillon?
Yes.
And we have been opposing it anyway. So.
Right. This
But
is
we want
formal name on
Our new,
Okay, item O is a presentation, general discussion, and possible action on SB 10.
No,
we did.
No, we did Q. Yes, sir. Down to Q.
We're down to Q.
thank goodness.
Presentation, general discussion, and possible action on HB 4072, which relates to the location at which certain sales are consummated for purposes of local sales and use tax.
So just think, is there a change in the law, or is this just because we're going after the Amazon tax?
This would be a change in law. The Amazon tax has actually changed pretty much because it was Wayfair versus South Dakota several years ago changed
Well,
it.
it was Texas now gets the tax, but it's just a general tax. I don't think the city gets the Amazon money, does it?
we don't collect our own sales tax. It goes to I think you do.
Okay.
I think you do. But this is really more, I called and talked to some people at the state comptroller's office in the tax allocation division. And this
We were
is
worried
more-
about this because of windmills.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
This is more on something called a 308 agreement, which happens between cities. And that's why they think this is actually coming in to play. But if you have a brick and mortar store and somebody walks in, there's no question you get the sales tax in that city. This would change the way the sales tax, right now, if you sell something and ship it to someone else, you're paying the sales tax for this
Right.
city because that's the only place you pay it. And I use you because you have a retail store.
Right.
This would change the way sales tax is allocated in that if you sent something and shipped it from Texas, within of Texas, you ship it to Dallas, Dallas is going to get that sales tax and not Port Aransas.
Sure.
It would be a horrible implementation for the state comptroller's office to have to do this. I know that they would not enjoy it. Our concern was the windmill storage yard.
Yeah.
Because the final place of destination for those windmills is
Here, somewhere.
it's somewhere else.
Yes,
It's definitely
yes,
not within the
yes,
city
yes.
of Port Aransas.
Right.
Storage yards are not specifically addressed in this bill, so there's not a final decision if it would affect
So
us.
we got some
but-
exploring to do on this one.
But they think it would, have things like this been presented in prior sessions? Yes. Have they all died? Yes. But this has gotten out. It looks like when you look in Legiskin, it has gotten out of the Ways and Means Committee as presented. So.
So
it has
we need
go
to do some
the
work on
House.
it.
Would this be something we'd stick our new founded lobbyist firm on?
Right, yes, we would. So we don't know if this is some other county or city being really sneaky about windmills, or if it's, this has more to do with Amazon and all that kind of stuff, which we're hoping that's what it is. But we don't want to unintentionally have something happen, all that.
Yeah, that
Yeah, so we're gonna, so just,
boost that we don't.
so I think we're just looking for just a quick motion of opposition.
Okay.
Correct, Darla?
I would think so, yes.
Make a motion of opposition to House Bill 4072.
There a second?
Second.
Call roll?
Councilmember Crawford.
Yes.
Councilmember Holt.
Yes.
Councilmember Clark.
Yes.
Councilmember Owen.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Moore.
Yes.
Mayor Leon.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All righty.
Let's vote, Wendy.
Go ahead.
What?
I think that was our last vote that we did.
No, you get to certify the election, ma'am.
Ah.
Have to be here next month. You
Oh,
get
that's right.
one more.
Okay, we're on item Q, right?
Or
We're on city manager reports, I believe.
Yeah, city manager report. Number 9.
Oh, yeah, so most of the legislative issues I've brought to you guys, there's some other small ones we're tracking that are mainly large citywide ones. Todd's doing pretty good on TWIA. Hopefully he'll continue
Give
and
us some background on that,
just,
what's going on,
well, the same old, they're trying to make the push to
raise rates.
raise rates, reconfigure the board, move the board. So Todd definitely has our back on it, so his stuff is moving, so we just got to keep the pressure on and keep backing Todd. Other than that, I've brought to you guys the main ones that were in the previous listed ones that we had independently.
Okay. Any discussion on that? None? Okay, we'll move on then. Staff reports, item 10. First one is accounting and finance. We're always looking forward to this one.
Well, things have been going well this year, so I agree.
Good. I noticed you've been smiling a lot.
good.
I have been smiling a lot. It's easier to to do things when you do have money. Our hotel motel tax has been doing really great. It is up 90% compared to the same month of last year. We're up 107% over last year compared to this year. It's really going well. And our sales tax is also doing better. It is at 10% over the same period last year and 24% basically for the first 6 months of the year.
And it might be even higher next month.
Might be because, well, it should be.
No, I'm saying it's going to be higher.
As a
next month.
comparison, for sure.
Yes, as a comparison, it's going to be higher. Sorry. yes,
April
it's gonna be-
wasn't a good month for last year.
April was not a good month for last year. You will not get the April figures though presented to you until till June.
Oh, so.
Because they go to
No,
this.
we'll have a good March.
Yeah, March should be good, and April gets paid to the state in May, and then remitted back to the city in June.
Sure.
So we won't really know our April figures till June.
I did have a question just on slip fees, and I'm trying to find it here because I saw it last night. And I don't know if it was it must have been last year. We actually had a negative fee for March or something. It was like minus $6,000. And that's not.
It was last year.
How do we get a negative slip fee?
When that's in the quarterly, we bill the quarterly, the monthly rentals we bill on a quarterly basis. So we only bill them 4 times a year. So if somebody lets a slip go, we bill in advance. They've already been billed, so several people let slips go, and we had a negative.
Okay.
Yeah. So when we do those adjustments to their bills. So.
It looks like golf cart ones are going out as well.
Yes, beach parking permits are doing really good.
So that's what I meant, beach parking permits.
Right, they are good.
I said golf cart, I meant beach parking permits, sorry. I know we've been selling the heck out of them.
We have.
So.
We've been really busy. So if you have anything.
Are they getting back into individual little baggies instead of a continuous roll?
Next year.
That's a pain. It's a pain.
I know,
It's a
I
pain
know.
the thing to sell.
Major screw up.
It's horrible, and no curve.
And they didn't fix it? I know y'all thought
Well-
maybe they were gonna come and fix it, but.
Well, they didn't, they were individually stacked.
Right.
Now they did put them on a roll.
A roll, okay.
So yes, you can tear them off. They were much worse.
Yeah.
They were
No,
a
I was gonna say
slick
it
deck
was
of cards.
really, really bad, yeah.
Yes, they were a slick deck of cards. What you got was an improvement.
Yeah.
That they are all on a roll.
Okay, well, roll's better than.
Well,
yeah.
roll, but they used to be like individual, like, so you could
No,
peel one
sure.
off and hand it to a customer, and now it's like hand to them, and they're like, what the hell is this? You know, kind of thing,
And
so.
there's no, between the perf of each permit, there is no room around that. So when we sell golf cart permit, a lot of our golf carts, we sell via mail. And we mail them to them or they pick them up at PD after hours. They call in, they give us their credit card, pick them up at the police department after hours because they're open 24/7. So prior, you had a plastic bag and you could staple that bag and that beach parking permit would not get lost. Now we are having to get an envelope and put them in.
Oh, boy.
And attach them. And
Yeah,
smaller envelopes are more expensive.
it's a huge pain.
It was a horrible bid. City of Corpus gets the permits printed every year. They do the bid and they go with cheap. Not always the most responsible bidder, and
I would tell them to do it next year. We're gonna get out of the program and go back to doing it ourselves.
so yeah, it's horrible.
That's something we're gonna discuss at the city workshop.
Okay.
They have a lot of food there.
I think it's a 90-day notice, or might even be less, but
I can't remember how much it is to get out of the interlocal between the county, city of Corpus and us, but we will bring it up.
Very good, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, how about the police report? Girls?
You get to wait all these hours so you can tell us that, crime is down and there's no more no more crime.
Crime is down and there's no more.
Hard to listen to the scanner sometimes.
No, trust me, poor David, I'll see like 5 police cars flying down the road and I'm like, Dave, what just happened? And he's like, I don't know.
Call the chief.
Yeah, I don't know either. Listen to the radio. They'll call me if they need me. Yeah, this is the March report, which is spring break, and sometimes you don't always get good feedback on when we implement rule changes and ordinances, and you don't really see the impact. But I think that if we go back to 2015 when we implemented the alcohol ban, I mean, we are really seeing the impacts of that over spring break. We had 65 arrests over a 2-week spring break.
Yeah.
In 2015, we had, I think,
65 a
180.
day.
I think we had 189 in a 1-week spring break.
Yeah. Well, I will tell you that this year, and I'll interrupt, it was a lot more families, and a lot of people were coming down, and they were happy that there weren't crazy kids down here, and lots of little kids. And I think I even texted Dave, a lot of people with baby strollers, which you almost never see before. So apparently people were busy during COVID lockdown.
I got the February report again in my packet. Did y'all get March report?
Nope, mine says February as well.
I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to interrupt you, Chief, but like the report that I have in my packet is last month's report.
The whole quarter,
Or just the cover?
Well, there's your summary page, and then we get the little totals.
Yeah, the statistics.
Yeah, it says
And
March
then
10, 2021, and then it says
mine-
February at the
It's
top.
definitely the one from last month, because I remember
Oh.
reading it. It's the same stuff
we're
from last
talking
month.
about the municipal court report. Is that the?
No.
It's this one right here, the interdepartment
No,
memorandum.
yours that you
Here.
prepare, the interdepartment that you prepare, this is from last month, because it talks about Snowvid and,
Well, see, I wasn't here last month, so I didn't realize this was the.
Sorry.
Sorry, Chief.
Was it better?
Yeah.
We gotta start the meeting over now.
Was it
Yeah.
better, worse?
I trust whatever it is that you're going to tell me, but I just thought maybe it was my packet, but
Maybe you sent us the wrong, did you send the wrong one, maybe?
I don't think so. This is
It's either you or Fran, one of you two are
Yeah,
fired.
somebody's
Fran has had a very hectic week, so I'm not going to drop her in.
how about just email us later? Yeah.
All right, give us the highlights.
Yeah, highlights.
Basically, the spring break, the highlights were the decrease in arrests, which I consider that a success. I know we get a lot of inquiries, and I'm sure y'all field phone calls with how we mistreat the locals and give too much credence to the tourists, and we don't issue citations or make arrests of tourists. And so I pulled out, just looking at golf cart incidents, which were almost 100% tourists. A third of the moving violations we wrote in March were the golf carts. So
On the highway?
on,
Oh
most of
my
them
God,
are
there
on the
were
highway.
so many on the highway.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
we're really focusing on the highway in the golf carts.
Do we have signs on all those roads coming onto the highway?
We do.
Didn't we budget, sorry to interrupt, didn't we budget to spray paint or paint all the entrances of no golf carts on the sidewalk? Because I don't think that's been done, but I vaguely remember budgeting that last year.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. No, Dave was purposely ignoring me.
No. I ignored you about my
Looking on
haircut.
his phone
Sorry.
for the old minutes.
What was the question?
I said, didn't we, she was talking about, she asked about signs. I said, didn't we budget money to pay to paint or spray paint or whatever, stencil each access on the sidewalk for no golf carts?
I think there was a discussion. I don't know. There was actually.
You mean on the, to stencil the cart path?
Yes.
No, stencil no carts on sidewalk.
Yeah,
No
but I
carts
think
past
that's
this.
a TxDOT issue, because since TxDOT actually owns them.
Well, we can stencil it, but we just couldn't put up signs.
Right, because we couldn't put up signs, so the
Yeah.
thought was we stencil it. But I vaguely remember us budgeting, I don't know, $10,000 or $5,000 or some amount of money.
Let me find out.
Sorry, not that it's going to think, it just was just curious. I hadn't seen it, but I remember us budgeting
Anyway,
that
they're
money.
not on the sidewalk, they're on the highway.
Well, right, but if you go by the sidewalk, if you drive by, you're going to see it says no
Oh,
golf
okay.
carts
And
here
they are
either.
on the sidewalk also. I mean, it's.
Right.
it's-
But
They'll
gosh, I
still
can't
do it.
believe they're right out there in the lane. with
They
traffic.
won't pay attention.
But when you field the calls, we are trying to address it. And in fact, we're going into the summer months. I think in 2016, y'all budgeted us $10,000 each year in overtime to do specifically for traffic enforcement on the highway. And we'll start doing that on May 15th. We'll start putting those officers on overtime again.
Damn, I
But right
can't
now,
speed anymore.
we're assigning our patrol officers each of us spend a minimum of 1 hour a day doing highway patrol work.
Getting some, right? And you can't get any new officers, right?
We're having a very difficult time, not only filling but keeping positions. We came into the year with 4 vacancies. We've had 1 officer resign since then, so we're creating 5. We filled 3 of those slots. The 3rd one started today, but the first one we actually hired out of Portland, Oregon, and we had the cold front that hit us. That also hit Portland. He had just signed a contract to put his house on the market. The cold front hit. He had an ice dam on his roof. Part of the roof collapsed, flooded the whole house. And he's looking at 6 to 9 months before he can put his house back on the market. He can't afford to move down here until his house gets back on the market. And then we had one that was 6 weeks, 7 weeks into the field training program. And his wife decided that it was time for him to go work to the family business up in North Dakota. And he just walked in and laid a letter of resignation on our desk completely out of the blue. So we're down 4 again. We are recruiting heavily. David and I have been in conversation with some of the issues we're facing, and we'll lay it on you thick when the budget time comes around. But
and I know this can sound like crazy, but I do know that like a lot of officers in like the Minnesota area were unhappy with work up there because their forces weren't things. Have we tried like maybe recruiting that direction?
Well, that's one of the things we were talking about, and it's really not, I don't know how much we really can't go into depth of it right now because it's not on the budget.
Right. I understand.
But we have a number of areas that I'd like to bring to y'all's attention, and I'm still doing some research. Housing costs are a biggie.
Sure.
Our applicant pool is pretty much south of I-10 because we can't compete north of I-10 with the salary differences, and we're just running out of qualified. And it's not just us. City of Portland just did a $1.6 million mid-year adjustment for their police department, and a chunk of that they're running 200 radio ads over the next 10 days, just trying to get people to the door. We're getting people to the door, but they're not people we want to hire for the city. So.
Well, we appreciate you being selective.
Yes.
But appreciate you.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Okay, EMS,
No,
It is not on.
not here?
No, sir.
Okay. Moving on, we have the minutes from the city council, our city committees and boards and commissions. You folks have looked at those, I assume? Any questions on those or anything? Okay. Item 11, city council comments, items for future consideration. Anybody have any comments or items for our future consideration?
Just think the city's been doing a very good job. Very happy. I know we've been getting a lot of people asking when are they going to get a new facilities for the police and everything. And I understand that's uphill, but I went to one of the political rallies yesterday and just to see what was there. And that seemed to be a very common theme among them is like, hey, they're still working out of a tent and all that kind of stuff. So.
That fire.
Sorry, the fire was working out of a tent. Yes, I'm sorry.
If you need something, a target for your bond that you have to pass sometime in the future, I got a problem.
Sure. But I mean, I'm saying to everybody, y'all doing a good job. It's just, there's a lot of, maybe we need to update the public as to what's going on with the FEMA and explain what's going on.
yeah, I'll reach out to Jetty. They've been doing updates, but we'll get a fresh one to them.
Okay. Any other comments?
I have one. Thank you. Thanks, Beth. It's been serving with you guys.
We're going to celebrate you next month.
I just wanted to share this because,
Not necessary.
You are to see this thing that we got you.
Me impressed.
Just I shared a little bit before the meeting started, but just since I've been here, so obviously early voting starts Monday. So you got 2 people running for place 1, you got 3 for 3 and 2 for 5. Go vote. It's very important.
Yep, get out and vote.
It is very
I would
important.
like to say, in line with that, I'm very happy to see the jetty and the answers that were presented and the folks that answer those that are running for council.
I haven't read it yet, but it's
And,
good. Huh?
Apparently, one of those, Mr. Park, is too busy to do that, so he's probably too busy to serve on council.
He didn't.
So
He did not respond.
anyhow.
But just to share this too, Mayor, just because we geek that way. So when my first meeting was May 17, 2017, and you guys sent me the package, so I put it all in one PDF. And since April 1st of 2021, it's over 17,649 pages of documents.
Wow.
And all of us have had to go through.
Wow, isn't that amazing?
Through since.
Makes me tired just thinking about it.
Yes.
So
But
did Tim say
thank you,
anything about
David.
why he
Thank
did or
you,
didn't?
Chief, all you guys
So,
for
well, I'll tell
what
you.
we've been through, especially since the hurricane and COVID, because it takes a special group to get through it.
It does.
I'm glad I was a part of it, so thank you guys.
Yes.
Well,
We're glad you're a part of it all.
we know you're going to be here next month, but either way, we still also appreciate you.
Yes.
Thank you guys. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else? Any comments? All right, this August meeting is adjourned.
Middle of the night. I don't know. I know.